Hi everyone, Eric at Retro Handheld Guides, and today we're going to be taking a look at installing Ship of Harkinian via Portmaster on the Rg35xx H. The Ship of Harkinian port is based off of the PC port of the decompilation of the Ocarina of Time, and one of the advantages of using this on the Rg35xx H is that we have all kinds of improvements that are available for us. That includes the ability to use texture mods, as well as new models. It has a number of quality of life enhancements as well. And in this guide, I'm going to be showing you how you can install the Ship of Harkinian mod on your Rg35xx H. So let's take a look at how to install Ship of Harkinian on the Rg35xx H via Portmaster. So for today's installation, I'm going to be using muOS version 10 again, nicknamed Beans. So you can see here I'm using muOS. I've got a custom theme up here by Marco Miranda. I'll be sure to leave a link to his Patreon page down in the description below. He's got lots of great themes that help you to customize the muOS experience. So inside of muOS with Portmaster, you'll just want to open that up. And the first thing we need to do is grab our Portmaster files for the Ship of Harkinian. Those can be found under our all ports. Using the right bumper, I'm just going to go down to S's, BQRS, and we have here Ship of Harkinian, so that's easily available. Just go into it and then click on your installed, and from there it'll download all of the necessary Portmaster files for the Ship of Harkinian. And the next step is to pop out your SD card and put it into your PC, and from there we'll grab the Ship of Harkinian supporting files in order to get this one up and running. Now that we've downloaded the Portmaster files to our device, the next step is to create our Ship of Harkinian supporting files. So the best place to find our install instructions for the port is to go to the Portmaster wiki, which is at portmaster.games, and look up the Ship of Harkinian wiki file. Now from here we can see that if we scroll down to our port details, we do have instructions. The instructions here are basically just to follow the guide at the Ship of Harkinian setup guide, and what we want to do is we want to create an oot.otr file and place that file into our Portmaster folder at ports.soh. So let's go to Ship of Harkinian setup guide. From there, if we open up my new tab here, we can see I'm on shipofharkinian.com, and if we go into the setup guide, we will be following the setup guide for Windows today. Under our Windows setup guide, there are a couple of steps that we need in order to start creating our supporting files for Ship of Harkinian. The first one is we do need to grab the latest release from GitHub. So if we click on the link here, we will go to our GitHub release page, and for this guide, I'm going to be doing the Windows in setup, so I will download the Windows files here. Clicking on that, we'll download our Windows setup files. And the next thing that we need is we also need to get a ROM for the Ship of Harkinian, which is the version of Ocarina of Time. There is a guide here as well on how to grab a ROM legally from the different sources. You can see at the top here that they do also have the ability to support a PAL version of the N64 cartridge. They don't have instructions on here as it does require specialized hardware. For me, I've got a version of the N64 cartridge and ROM, so I'm going to follow this step here. If you do have any of these other ones, you can follow the instructions on this particular step. When you do have a PAL version of the N64 cartridge, as I have, you can check to make sure that your cartridge is going to work properly. Down here at the bottom, there is a validate your dumped ROM using a new URL, ship.equipment. Under ship.equipment, it tells you the different versions that are supported, so I'm going to be using the PAL version of the ROM, and just to make sure that it works, I will load my ROM into here. So I'm going to go to my Ship of Harkinian folder, where I have my N64 ROM from the European dump. So I'm going to grab that just to make sure that it works, drop it into my ROM checker, and it just goes through a quick process. It's going to check the hash of this ROM, and then at the end of this process, once it's done, this is a good one, so I can use this for my process. So now that I have the two things that I'm going to need to create my Ship of Harkinian assets, I can now extract the release from GitHub and point it to my OOT ROM file. So let's go into my Ship of Harkinian folder where I have my Win64 installation as well as my ROM. So I will simply extract that into a new folder, which I've already done here to save myself some time. And you get a series of files that look like this. From here, what you want to do is double click on SoH.exe, and it will tell us that there are no OTR files. That is what we're going to be doing. So we're going to generate one now. We will click yes. No ROMs found. Do I want to look for one? If you already have a ROM in this folder where the SoH.exe is, then it will find it for you. Otherwise, I'm going to simply look for one, and I'm going to look for one under my Ship of Harkinian folder and point it to my Europe ROM for my N64. So I'm going to open that now. The system then goes through and does this process. Now this is going to take a little while. It goes through the entire process for us and grabs and creates the file for us. So as it goes through this, it will then say that it is done. Do I want to extract another? This extract another is going to be if you also have the master quest. So if you have a ROM with the master quest on it, you will say yes, and then it'll create the master quest files as well. I don't in this case, so I'm just going to say no. At this point, it then opens up the Windows version of Ship of Harkinian. I don't actually need this, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. What I want is the Ship of Harkinian files, and this one specifically is oot.otr. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this file here and copy it. And as we saw on the Portmaster wiki, we then need to move this file into our ports folder on our SD card. So I'm going to go over to my SD card here in muOS. Under muOS, I will then go into my ports folder and Ship of Harkinian folder, and I'm going to simply drop that file into this area here. So at this point, I have what I need to then open up the port on my device, and this will allow us to run the Ship of Harkinian using this process. And that's all I really need to get it started. When I started playing Ship of Harkinian, I noticed that the app would crash when I tried to equip the Deku stick. And so I had gone to the Portmaster Discord and I found a solution in there from one of the users. And their solution was to use the R36S compilation of Ship of Harkinian for Portmaster. So I'm going to leave a link to this one in the description below, but it is at Shipwright R36S at GitHub. So what we want to do to use this one is to grab the 805 pre-released files. Those ones here are under assets, and what we want is the SoH performance.zip. Now, using the SoH performance.zip, inside of this file, there are two files that we're going to need to pull out. And those two files are in here. They are called SoH ELF and SoH OTR. So these two files are going to replace the existing files that we have with the same name inside of the Portmaster folder. So if we go back into our Portmaster folder on my SD card from muOS, inside of Ship of Harkinian, there are those two files here, SoH ELF and SoH OTR. Now, these two files are actually copied in every time that you run Ship of Harkinian from a supporting folder. Under the bin folder, it actually copies in these performance ELF and OTR files and replaces the SoH files in your root folder. So in order to get these files to use the R36S files, what I want to do is I want to replace from my performance.zip these two files. So I'm going to copy these out of my performance.zip file, and I'm going to put them over into my muOS SoH bin folder. And I'm just going to paste them right here. So as I paste them in, they are going to be copied in as SoH ELF and OTR. And because the Portmaster file is automatically copying these two files in, then what I want to do is I want to delete the performance versions of these files, And then my new files that I put in there, I'm going to call these ones performance instead. So now every time that Ship of Harkinian is run, it will then copy in these two files to replace the ones inside of the root folder. Now, there is also an issue when trying to run these two files, and that is because these two files are actually compiled using a library that does not exist in the Portmaster version of the download. So what I need to do is I now need to grab the supporting library as well, and that one is available on the Arch Linux forums. So I'll leave a link to this one in the description below as well. What we want to do is grab OpenSSL, and from there we want to download this package by clicking on the Save Link As. So as we save the link as, it's going to download it as a tar package, and those tar packages can be opened using 7-zip or WinRAR. Now that I have that package as well, I'll go back into my folder where I downloaded this package, and I can open up that tar package using 7-zip. So I'm going to open it here, and I'm looking for a specific file inside of this archive. It is under lib, and what I'm looking for is this one, libcryptoso11. So if I go ahead and I extract this out to my folder, then what I can do is grab this file, libcrypto, and I'm going to copy this over to my Portmaster installation into the libs folder. So there's already one here, but this one is a newer version, and what I need is the version that's being used for the R36S. Now that I have these two files in here, then I will be able to run the Ship of Harkinian using the Portmaster files that were compiled for the R36S. Now this may not be necessary for newer versions of Portmaster. They may end up fixing this, but if you do have a crash when you open and equip the Deku stick as well, there's apparently an issue later at the ice caverns. This fix should fix both of those issues. Now, one of the main reasons to use Ship of Harkinian is obviously because of the quality of life enhancements that it brings. Having this on your device allows you to use these quality of life enhancements without having to do some sort of ROM hack. So inside of the Ship of Harkinian, there is a menu that's available. I'm going to show you this from my desktop PC just because it's easier to visualize. This menu is also available under your device. If you click on the L3 button, it will bring up this menu as well. And you can see up here up at the top, we do have a number of different settings that are available. Specifically under enhancements, there are a number of preset enhancements that are available for you. The default just has the default values. Vanilla Plus adds some quality of life improvements. Enhancements is the same as vanilla, but also potentially does changes to the gameplay as well. These ones are all available as different presets in here. Now, the reason I want to show you this is because this menu, while available under your device, it doesn't seem to save these settings from session to session. So I'm going to show you some of the different enhancements that are available for things like enhanced or vanilla. I like using the enhanced just because I played this before. So using the enhanced presets does things like open chests faster, faster climbing, auto-equip weapons, allows for equipable boots and tunics, changes the owl to default to yes, I understood. So all of those things that kind of save you time. It also has faster text speed and allows you to skip text altogether. So all of these are available through different presets. Now there are these presets that are available for you. Because it doesn't save from session to session on your device, what you'll want to do instead is actually update the configuration files directly under your Portmaster installation. So to do that, what you want to do is you want to go under your Portmaster installation, and inside of the SoH folder is a file called config.ini. If you right-click on config.ini and open it with Notepad or some other text editor, you can see here that it does bring out some of those common presets that you'll want to do. You do have the ability to set your presets too. I've set mine to enhanced. You can put in Vanilla Plus or default in here. All of those different settings you can see on the Portmaster wiki are here. So if you do want to use the various presets built in, you can choose one of these ones here. Now, additionally, I also have changed the interpolation FPS for the N64. The Ocarina of Time did originally run at 20 frames per second, so I've just adjusted this to 30 frames per second. Gives it a little bit more of a smoother experience. And those are the two that I've set here under my config.ini. You can go ahead and change some of these, get rid of the draw distance, increase the resolution. For me, I just wanted to use the enhancements to change that gameplay to make it a little bit faster, as well as up the FPS. And that's all you really need. Once you've saved this config.ini, then the file will automatically load and set those configurations for you the next time you load up your Ship of Harkinian. So here we are running the Ship of Harkinian port through the Portmaster installation. Once I had all those changes made, I can now run through the application, and with my enhanced presets, I have the ability to pull out different weapons from both the D-pad and from my right thumbstick mapped to the C-pad. And with all those enhancements, right, I have things like the ability to skip text, I can do fast text, I can have the better owl, I can save locations better, I can auto-equip weapons. So all of that is available via the Ship of Harkinian through the Portmaster. The next reason why you might want to use Ship of Harkinian is because of its mod support. So Ship of Harkinian does allow for mods to change the textures and the models of the system itself. So those ones are downloadable all over the place. There is a great resource at gamebanana.com. And if you wanted to apply mods, those are also possible through the Portmaster version of Ship of Harkinian. I've downloaded 2 mods myself, that being the Ocarina of Time 3DS models, as well as the Ghibli Sky. So this will change some of the textures that are available within the application. If you wanted to apply either of these, just download the mods. Each mod has a different download process, but once you get into them, basically, they'll generally contain these OTR files. And what you want to do is extract your OTR files to wherever it is that you're going to put them. So I'm going to extract that one here, as well in here. I'm going to extract that here as well. And then when I extract both of those, I'll have a series of OTR files. Now these OTR files can easily be copied directly into the mod folder. So I'm just going to copy this one from my downloaded extract, and I'm going to go over to my Portmaster folder, and under here you can see there is a mods folder. And inside of this mods folder is where you're going to place all your OTR files. So just drop that right in here. And that's basically it for the process. So once I come in here, I'm going to drop in my 3DS files as well. And now all of my textures and models are going to be able to be modded directly into Ship of Harkinian. Now, because these are custom assets, what you want to do is tell the system that we're going to be using custom assets. That's done here at the Portmaster folder. And again, if we go into the config.ini, through config.ini, what we want to do is we want to tell the system that we are going to be using custom textures. So I'm just going to change this from a 0 to a 1, and then save that. And that's it. Next time I load up my Portmaster version of Ship of Harkinian, then I will see new mods, including the 3DS models, as well as a new sky texture. And here we go. Now that we have the mods installed, we can go ahead and come out into Hyrule Field. And you can see here I have my new sky mod, which I like a lot better. It makes it look kind of cartoonish, but I really like the way that that looks. If we take a look at the model, we also have the 3DS models for Link. And overall, it looks a lot better, right? This is going to allow us to play the game with enhanced resolution, enhanced frames per second, as well as a number of texture mods and other mods. So there's tons of mods that are available for you through the Ship of Harkinian modding community. So I hope you liked my guide. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the description below. If there's any other guides for specific ports you're looking for on Portmaster, or any devices you'd like me to review, feel free to leave those in the comments below as well. So, thanks for watching.